Hey guys, Kelly Fisher here. I just want to talk about the Trump effect because with what's going on right now politically and the left, right, and this bubbling up, the Trump effect is Trump taking off the lid to this bubbling that's been going on for a long time. And without getting into what's been going on, because what's bubbling up inside you personally is what's important. And I'm going to give you 3 tips to work through this in a much more relaxed manner. So, the Trump effect, what does that mean? It could be any effect that triggers this in you, but it's just obvious right now that this Trump effect thing is just bringing up stuff that's just exploding. So when it explodes, your thought, feeling, emotion process you're working with. When you feel that explosion, that rage of anger, no matter who said on which side, that rage of anger that comes up, realize that feeling and emotion that's coming up from you, that's about you. Now, these are issues you have to work on, what you feel is going on, whether you feel slighted by the government or what have you. It's important to understand that these are only your feelings and emotions. You think you're part of one of the two groups, but you're not. That's when you get really out of balance, when you really identify yourself with red or blue. Important to know, tip number 1, that it's coming from inside of you. It's a signal to you. See, I don't get that out of balance. I see what's going on. I have discussions about it, but I don't get, oh my God, like it doesn't trigger that inside me because I'm always me. I'm always centered. And it's a signal to you about your thoughts and feelings, emotions, what you have to work on. Now, tip number 2, everyone is going through it. Everyone, whether you don't like what's going on the right, what you don't like what's going on the left, everyone, every human being is working with the same thought, feeling, emotion. And when these things get triggered, like I said, the Trump effect just magnifies it, is why it's so obvious right now. But tip number 2 is to realize, and this is what helps center you, to realize that everyone is working with the same thought, feeling, emotion process. So have a little sympathy, have a little empathy for what other people are raging up about, and knowing that their rage is about them, and to not take it personally. Tip number 3 is to burn off that energy. I meditate, I run, I lift weights. I was at the gym last night, half-hour stair climber, pump some iron. I was centered. Burn off that energy. That is energy, that the Trump effect, the lid is lifted. Energy, fired up, mad. Realize those feelings, thought, feelings, and emotions are only about you, not about the subject you're mad about. Very important to understand how the system works. Tip number 2, everyone is working with the same system, the same thought, feeling, emotion. So it kind of zooms you out a little bit and stays centered. Okay, I'm mad. What am I mad about? You say to yourself. And then you have issues that you're mad about. Everyone else is going through the same system from a different viewpoint. Have some empathy, some sympathy. What are you mad about? Now we're having level-headed conversations instead of having the exploding Trump effect. Number 3, before we have that level conversation, burn off the energy. No matter how you can burn off the energy, yell and scream if you have to at the top of your lungs, and come back and say, okay, let's talk about this. I can't even understand why you think that way. How do you feel that way? How do you bring it back down a notch? Okay? This Trump effect is blowing the lid off everything, and when people don't understand this thought, feeling, emotion process, it gets so out of balance, and they don't realize that your feelings are only about you. You can't feel other people's feelings. That's not the way it works. So you think that everyone on the left feels the same way, like we're going to get them on the right, and same thing for the right. We're finally going to take back in our country. And once you the dichotomy of there's a reason it's red and blue. There's a reason it's fight or flight. There's a reason that once you get to one side or the other, there's no more hearing, there's no more listening to the other side, because you're on this side and you think everyone thinks, feels, and emotes the same way you do, that's on the same side as your color. And they don't. Those feelings are all about you. So tip number 1, thought, feeling, emotion. It's all about you, no matter if it's Trump or anything else that explodes you. That energy that comes up from you is all about you. Number 2, everyone on the planet is working with the same system, thought, feeling, emotion. Have some empathy. Tip number 3, burn that energy off before you have these conversations. You'll have a much more centered conversation, bringing your authentic self. to the conversation instead of an argument. God bless, guys. Go to bestanxietysolution.com. Learn how to get rid of stress and anxiety.